know why, but you are watching the Madness Comic Network. Are you mental?
And good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com, myopic proofreader for Critical Blast Publishing, Chief Envelope Licker for Critical Blast Logistics. And yes, we will even help you with your processing of data or your crowdfunder if you want to print it yourself, if you want to ship it yourself, but you just want to make it a little bit easier, call us. We can help you with that. Tonight It is Kill Stan Part 2. Why? Because they didn't kill him the first time around when they got the shot. So we're going to find out what's happening with Stan. Why is he still alive? And is this title lying to us? The only person with the answers to that is Mr. Deece Casillas. Deece, welcome to the show, sir.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Oh, so you're back. You crowdfunded the first one successfully.
It is out. Been out.
We discussed it. I'm going to feign amnesia. Maybe I've totally forgotten. I don't know. I'm not telling. But we're gonna find out what's happening here. And what I remember, all I remember is Stan's a street vigilante. That's it. Now, somebody wants to kill him. Hence the title. Because you know, truth in advertising and all that, right? So why don't you fill us in on the elevator pitch one more time, and then we'll dive into where we are at the story so far.
Sure. So the elevator pitch is it's a story about a guy who wants to end his own life, so he decides to do it through vigilantism. Really, it's a story about kind of a character piece about loss, trauma, and the crazy things we do, and we feel like we have nothing left to live for. On its surface, it's kind of a neo-noir thriller. That's the vehicle that delivers the real story, which is Stan and his personal dark demons he's wrestling with, we'll say, and why that is, what that is, and how that manifests in him and everyone else.
So basically, it's like if I decided to end it all, but I wanted to go out in a blaze of glory like Batman, and then bought myself a Batman costume saying, okay, I'm going to go out and do this thing, and somewhere along the way, I'm going to get shot, and then mirabile dictu, find out that I'm actually good at it.
Maybe. I don't know if I would say Stan is good at it. I would say he has a way. He's maybe able to. He's, failing upwards at this point. And how that continues or does not continue, we learn a lot over the next couple issues.
Because if even if you want to die, going out like something like that, there's that survival instinct in you that's hard to override. So,
sure.
You're going to fight back, and, you may survive your suicide attempt by doing this. Sorry, YouTube, I said the S word.
That is something we talk about and touch on in this, that survival instinct, when that kicks in, how that kicks in, someone's how, and just touching on a very hard subject to tackle when someone wants to take their own life, what that means to them, what that means to people around them, and what that looks like.
So why did Stan pick this method? I mean, does he live in a world of vigilantes? Is he a fanboy that this is his dream?
Yeah. He lives in basically the regular world. There's no other vigilantes. There's no other superpowers. No, nothing like that. I really wanted this to be very grounded in reality. Something that people could relate to, looking at their own life, and how they may react. And if he lived in a world of other vigilantes and superheroes, I feel like it'd take away from the weight of what he's doing. When he's doing this in a regular world, it ups the stakes quite a bit, as opposed to like, and then there's the guy that shoots lasers out of his dick hole. So, or whatever.
I saw him on The Boys. Yeah.
It doesn't really, all of a sudden, running around in a mask and trying to punch people in the face doesn't carry as much gravitas.
Doesn't register as much. The news are like, yeah, there's another one. What's the better story than that?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, although in the real world, I have seen that there are people who, there is the real world superhero movement.
Yeah.
And they dress up in costumes and they go out, but largely they pick up trash and feed the homeless people.
There was Phoenix Jones in Seattle. He did that for a while until he got stabbed and finally retired. They would dress up in a costume and go kind of, stop people from general mugging. Nothing crazy. But really, when you're in a costume walking around, it's more just a deterrent of like, hey, look at this guy who's probably a little crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of reminded of I don't know if you saw it. You're probably way too young to have seen it. There was a John Ritter movie called Hero at Large, and I saw it on television. I think it might have even been made for television. He's an actor who has been hired by a publicity company to drum up publicity for a superhero movie for Captain Avenger.
Okay.
So they've hired all these people to dress up as Captain Avenger and just be around New York holding signs and passing out flyers and whatnot. And he, quite by accident, a little bit of bravery, but mostly luck, stops a holdup at the local convenience store he goes to in the Captain Avenger costume.
Okay.
and decides he likes it. So, as just like with Stan, the media starts to pick up on it and say, hey, somebody's actually doing it. But there was a scene where he's chasing somebody in a car, and they start shooting back at him. And his statement there is like, if they're going to start using bullets, I'm going to quit.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, this just got very real. Oh.
Yeah.
You realize how mortal you are very quickly.
And you can't keep dodging them forever. So what is the reception to Stan throughout issue 1? I mean, does he get much notoriety at this point, or is he still sort of building up to that?
Still very relatively unknown. So this is based in, we don't really name the city. It's just a big city. It's the shitty part of town. And there's not really much notoriety for this part of town. So he's flying under the radar. The local people are starting to notice because actually there's some good getting done. Unbeknownst to him, he's actually doing some good in the world. And it's an area where, all the police are corrupt. Everything's just a shit show. So these people start to revere him as this hero and feel like they need him, where he is just doing this selfishly wanting to die. It's not altruistic. So there's that other layer of guilt of people finding him and being like, oh, this guy, this urban legend who's cleaning up the streets, is like great. And then he hears about this and he's like, oh no, I just want to die.
So do they call him Stan, or do they come up with some moniker for him? Because he's masked. He's not going out there as himself.
His mask, he actually has the nickname the Demon King. And the reason for that is the mask he wears, it's around Halloween time during this story. And he uses just a cheap Halloween mask that he picked up, and it was just labeled as the Demon King. So that's what they start calling him.
That would be the way to go. I mean,
yeah.
With the presence of so many Spirit Halloweens, we could all
that's right. Find something.
In fact, it wouldn't even have to be Halloween. So how does this differ? I'm flying by the seat of my pants as we move forward here, because you've written stuff before. As it says here, you're the author of Insomniac. How does that differ in tone? How does Kill Stan differ in tone from Insomniac?
Yeah, I mean, I do stand-up comedy for a living. That is my job career. So I write a lot of stuff, but I've written for, shows, sketch, film, wrote a book, obviously, writing a comic book now, written for comedy websites, all kinds of stuff. And it's all a little different, depends on what I'm doing. When I'm writing something that's fiction, and not like comedy based, I really like darker tones, noir tones, kind of crime noir, and stuff with a really kind of taking dark elements and the deepest, darkest thoughts we have inside ourselves, pushing them to the surface, making people look at them, swim around in them, and understand that the only way to move past those is to spend some time with them and understand why you feel the way you do about them, to be able to move past them.
Yeah, I've found that the best dark movies I've watched have starred some of the best comedians that I've loved at the time.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey and The Cable Guy, Robin Williams in 1 Hour Photo.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
There's but you can't do stand up dark drama. It doesn't work. Come have some drinks and get depressed.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a departure from what I normally do on a night to night basis in comedies. It gives, I mean, there is humor in this. You're going to find some humorous moments. There's some levity. It's dark comedy, gallows humor, things like that. A lot of cynicism. Not that I'm anywhere near as good as this writer, but people have compared my writing to, like, they said it reminds them of Chuck Palahniuk, if you know who that is. So that's kind of the tone that comes across in my writing. Maybe Chuck Palahniuk mixed with Ed Brubaker is probably
Oh, I love Brubaker.
So yeah. If you like Brubaker, I think you'd like this a lot. That's that's a couple people have compared the book to, Ed Brubaker style. It's like, actually, if you read some of these quotes, someone even said, yes, this is Ed Brubaker level good modern crime noir at its finest. That's a quote from a reader. So
there you go. So is this your first comic, or have you dabbled in the area before? I mean, like, come on, RJ, I've been publishing comics for 20 years now.
No, this is my first published comic book. I've written a million scripts over the years. This is the first thing that came to fully being birthed and getting out there to the world for people to read.
And I'm guessing the fact that crowdfunding exists now has made it a little easier to get these kinds of things done.
Yes and no. I mean, I fully funded the first book. I mean, before I even launched the Kickstarter, the book was already at the printer. So I'm paying for it all. And then if I make money on the Kickstarter, great. If not, I'm still putting the book out there and hitting the circuit and selling it on at conventions, selling it in stores, selling it online. So, I mean, the book's coming out one way or the other. It's just a good way to, recoup some of those funds that I'm putting into it.
Well, when the whole thing is done in a story arc, the trade paperback. Keep my phone number, keep my email address. We publish to retail markets, so.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I remember you telling me that last.
This is how I put him on the spot in front of everybody, guys. He can't really tell me no while you're all watching, but he can just kind of nod and grin and say, yeah, I've already got a deal. So let's take a look at some of the art here. And well, can you tell us a little bit about how you found an artist? Did you know somebody already, or?
No. So what I did is there's plenty of Facebook groups for independent comic book creators. There's a million of them out there. I'm in a, 24 of them probably. And when I was ready to do this book, I just put an ad out now on a bunch of them and said, hey, I want to do this book. It's a 10-issue series. I need someone who can commit to the whole thing. It's kind of a crime noir feel, grittier. Here's a couple artists that I like that I kind of wanted to look like. Just send me your page rate, send me your portfolio. And I, got a bunch of emails, filtered through them, found the guy I liked, and we've got a great relationship. His name's Felipe Sobrera. He's a phenomenal artist. I mean, the guy is just so good, as you can see as you go through here. He's just absolutely amazing. I mean, today I got the final page back for number 2 from him while I was driving, and my God, he's just nailing it. So yeah, worked with him. We figured out a contract to make sure he can stay on for all 10 issues. Same with my colorist and letterer, Jimmy G. We've got, we're all contractually obligated to make this bad boy work. And yeah, I mean, they're just doing a killer job. I work with Felipe really closely for the panel layout. Like I'm probably more like Alan Moore when it comes to my panel layouts. Like, I'm very descriptive. I want
11 pages for one panel.
Yeah, I will tell you how I want the panels laid out. I'll even do thumbnails and breakdowns for him and things like that. And then the color also, I worked with a colorist to get a specific tone, saturation, and richness to all the colors too. So like if you look at that first page, having that like blue red tones was something I wanted to do to push that noir feel. And that's thematically consistent with the entire book. Something we wanted to make sure we did. So yeah, and now my team's just killing it. They're reading my mind. So
this art here, especially the way the colors are done, reminds me of a book I read in the early '90s. Of course, '90s was like the indie glut, but there was a book called Twister, and I don't know if I ever saw any issues past the first issue. But Twister was about a serial killer.
Okay.
Now, mind you, this was early '90s.
Yeah,
maybe '93 or '94. He was a serial killer, and his gimmick was he killed serial killers. So this was
like early Dexter.
Yeah, it was a pre-Dexter.
That's so funny.
But he wore a mask, and it was this kind of style here. The whole threadboard, evidence board thing going on there, tracking people down.
Yeah, and if you go down the richness on Stan and this see, he's intentionally a different, more of a richer tones to stand out from the rest of it to press the severity. If you go down one more page too, you'll see that maybe one more. Sorry. Oh no, there you go. We put the EKG meter in red, things like that. I really wanted to use color. Comic books is an artistic medium, and I approach this like making a film. And in film, color is so important. You can use color to tell part of the story. And I feel it's, so many creators really miss the mark by not utilizing their color to also tell part of the story. There's so much you can convey just by the coloring you're using.
Yeah, Shyamalan does that in his movies. Like when you watched The Sixth Sense, every time you saw red, that was a clue that, hey, this means something. This is special.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of I'm a big Stanley Kubrick fan. Kubrick was so genius with the way he did panel setup and also colors. Darren Aronofsky, and the Black Swan, very intentional color scales and things like that. And those, to something as simple as Star Wars, where Luke goes from wearing white to wearing gray to wearing black in, Star Wars Empire Jedi. It's that transition of the character arc. People just, if you don't think about it, you're like, oh yeah, we're black this episode. It's like, no, that's an intentional transition to show him moving towards his space and what he could potentially move to the dark side or find, his purpose with as a Jedi. So.
The reason I keep leaning out of frame, I told you about the cats that are driving me crazy.
Yeah.
My one little girl, Heisenberg, she has trained me to throw this paper ball. I'm sitting here whipping it into the kitchen.
Yeah,
she's chasing it down.
Know what they want.
Yeah, and then she brings it back to me to throw again. So, most people say I've trained the cat to play fetch. No, she just keeps doing it on her own. She's got me throwing her. Now, we had mentioned that this is a world without supers. This is a world without abilities, no vigilantes. At the same time, I'm looking at the Winter Soldier's arm on this guy. So is there some sort of advanced technology that's necessary to move the story along? Or am I just behind on prosthetics?
Maybe both. I don't know where you're at with prosthetics. I don't even know where prosthetics are at. So who knows? But so this is like an advanced technology that we learn some about in the first couple issues. How much we learn about over the course of the story, you're gonna have to read it, guys. But it is just an advanced technology, and this is kind of the reason this propels the plot. Or it's kind of a vehicle for the plot, which is Stan is the plot. Stan's Nepenthe, Stan's catharsis. That is the story. But this is the vehicle that propels the cat and mouse game of the local crime syndicate that's after him because he ended up with this arm in his possession that they had in a shipment.
Okay. So Is he wearing it over his arm, or is he attaching it to where he doesn't have an arm?
It bonds to his arm. Yeah.
Okay. that's now we're talking exoskeleton technology.
Yeah.
I hope it's got web shooters, because this is not recoverable right here.
Yeah, yeah. Just Stan ends up in a lot of dire situations. But again, he wants to die, so maybe falling out a window, a 20-story window, is just what he needs.
Yeah, and it's when he's doing the dialogue, I always love it when a guy is dying and he's narrating his movie. Like, I don't think that's going to kill him, because he wouldn't be. That's me. Well, that's part me anyway. What does he mean by that? Because he's whole. He's not an amputee.
Oh, I think it's that's past me.
Oh, past
Like,
me. Okay.
like in the
Okay, yeah, that is what it says. I had to get really close to my screen.
So this story
Okay, so-
is bounce around. It's not the first couple issues are not linear. So we kind of jump around in the story, and then the first couple issues are kind of jumped around until we gather to where we're actually at in the story. Now,
the other part of that when I talk about somebody narrating their own death scene, it kind of takes a bit of the suspense away, because you're like, for me, it's like, well, he can't be telling us about his life if he died.
Sure. Well, he could be dead and telling it from the afterlife.
He could be.
Someone could have killed Stan in the very first issue, and now he's narrating this as a supernatural, a wraith.
Yeah. So it's like, very first issue could be right, standing in front of First Peter. He's like, so I suppose you're wondering how we got here. Record scratch, cut back.
Yeah. See, that's there's a lot of layers, a lot of unknowns, and telling this since it's not linear for the first couple issues, there's a lot of unknowns and what is happening until we get to a certain point. Then you're caught up and you'll be 100% in the know. But we have to keep them some hooks to get people coming back, right?
Oh yeah, you got to. So you got 6 variant covers here. That's not bad.
So those top 3 are those were the covers for number 1.
Even better.
And then those bottom 3 are the covers for number 2. So I just did a cover gallery because we do offer the covers, the first issue with this, you can package. So I wanted people to know be able to look at all the covers.
Yeah, it's nice for things like this to the new people, they need to catch up.
Yeah.
Are you selling? Are you getting new customers? Is what I should be saying. You got 2 of them on the 1 and 2. Obviously, I can't see how many people did it as an add-on, but
yeah. I mean, I definitely, looking at the Kickstarter, I definitely have some people who I don't recognize their names. I have some people who've done number 1 and 2. So yeah, we certainly have a lot of returning customers, which is good too. So, we want both, but
how, I'm sure it's in the text if I want to scroll back up and down to find it, but how many pages are we talking about in this book?
This one is 24 or 26.
Okay.
Yeah, all the issues are between about 24 and 32 pages. I don't have them uniformly a certain page number because basically I just wanted to be able to tell the story I wanted to tell in that issue. I'm my own publisher and editor. I'm not going to hamstring a story and save myself, 50 cents on page count just because I have to hit 24 pages instead of 28. I'd rather just pay the extra, get the best story I can for that issue. Yeah,
as long as you have an even number of pages, you're good to go.
And, so they bounce around. Yeah. 24, 26, 32. Yeah. They kind of vary throughout the series.
But, basically your standard comic book, your standard floppy.
They're all at least as big as a standard floppy. So
for that, people are paying $20, which is typical. This is indie. We're not, printing millions of these things.
That does cover shipping also, though. There's no secret add-on When you
Oh.
go to check out, you're not going to be like, oh, also you're going to need that shipped, unless you want to come to Texas and pick it up. So yeah, that does include shipping. So, and
Wow.
shipping.
Now you're selling this for $20 with shipping.
Yep.
And that's to anywhere in the world. Now, as a person
that's anywhere in the United States. That's US only.
That's not what it says.
It says shipping. Yeah, free shipping in USA.
Oh, okay. Phew. Yeah. Because the next line down said ships to anywhere in the world. I'm like,
we do ship to anywhere in the world, but it is
you are
free.
Giving this thing away.
It's free in the USA. Yeah, it's I think we charge $30 to 30, 35, something like that, to anywhere in the world. So some places are more, some places are less. I figure that's the average, and I'll just hedge my bets.
If you ever have questions on that, let me know. I can tell you exactly what they are.
Yeah, I mean,
Canada and everywhere else.
Here's the thing with that, RJ, is like you can enter them all individually, but my God, I only got so much time in the day. I'll just hedge.
There's only two. There's Canada and everywhere else.
God, not in mine. When I set them up, it has me list individual places.
Yep. You talk to me after the show. We'll do this for you. $25 if you want it signed, which, who doesn't want it signed? I would. I don't think $5 for an autographed copy is all that outrageous. Make it, prestige above the other one.
That's right.
Now, as we're going down here, you're seeing the this was the main copy, the physical copy. This is the
Yep. So we've got the physical copy signed. And the physical copy signed with the comedy special, my 1-hour comedy special. So that for a couple extra bucks, you can get that. Then you
have a palate cleanser after you watch a depressing story about a guy trying to kill himself.
If you like some jokes, if you like what about a story about a guy trying to kill himself, you'll love stand-up comedy. It's basically the same thing.
Now I want to see a story about a guy trying to kill himself by becoming a stand-up comic.
That's right. I think that's the Joker. I think that's the Joker movie.
That might be.
Oh, yeah. Then we've got the $30 tier. That's the physical. You get a physical copy of number 1 and number 2, the A cover.
That's a very good discounted deal. I mean, you're getting the second book for half off, pretty much.
Yep. So we're just encouraging people who have, if they haven't gotten in on number 1 yet, they can real easily. Then we've got the $50 tier. That's the variant set. So you get the main cover and the variant cover signed and the comedy special, all for just $50.
Okay.
And then we've got
now you got this one here. Is this one foil? Because I'm just looking above, and the one prior was foil, so I'm thinking they're.
So this one is not going to be foil. So what we're doing, and this is going to be probably consistent with the entire run, is we do a number 1 where the A cover is going to be this red and black you see on both, though they're all going to be that style. We're going to do a completely off type variant cover. And then I didn't showcase it here just because it's not available anymore. But for the Kickstarter, we did a negative variant cover where it was black and white. And we only did 25 of those. So they're gone. We did a limited run. So this bloody one you see here for number 2 is going to be a limited run also. We're only printing 25 of those. So when they're gone, they're gone. And then when we go to print, our main print for retail and everything like that, we'll go and do a bloody foil edition of the A cover like we did with number 1. So that's an incentive afterwards for retailers to pick up and then at conventions and stuff.
Now, of course, you want it all, and somebody did.
That's right.
Did at least $100. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books, and the comedy special. And it all continues to add up.
Get it all.
But yet, wait, there's more. Now, this is big. So Explain how bigness it is here to do this.
Yeah, we've got our
It's
big one.
$800.
Yeah, our big one is the let me get to it. It's $800, and you get a live comedy show. I will come to your house with all the books anywhere in America. I will choose. The date is to be determined, though, so we're gonna have to figure that out with my schedule. But I will come to you, and I'll give you and your friends a private comedy 1-hour comedy show at your house.
Have you done this before?
Not through the Kickstarter. I haven't had anyone bite on it yet, but I've certainly done private events at people's houses before. Yeah.
That would be fantastic. I have no idea where me and 3 other people would sit. And you would truly be doing stand-up comedy because you wouldn't have a chair.
Yeah, it can be fun. It can be a nightmare. It just really depends. So,
okay, so how do you prepare for something like this? I mean, if you're going to a bar, you're just like, hey, these people are 21, they're drinking. I'm going to go in with, the whole set. But I can see you showing up at somebody's house and it's like, hey, you're doing the comedy show. Great. Thank you for the books. The kid's birthday party is out back.
Well, I think if they're buying a book about a guy killing himself, they're probably assuming, I'd sure hope they'd watch my comedy before they book me for a kid's birthday party. But you know what? If they wanted me to do it I'll tell you what, I've done shows at venues where they're like, hey, we are family friendly. And I'm like, all right, well, I sent you my hour. You know what I do. And I just tell everyone, I'm like, I'm going to do what I do. And if your kids go home with some bad words, new words, that's on you. I don't got to deal with them. I'll never see them again. You guys got to.
I would just do it to mess with you because I think it's funny. But it's like, hey, Andrew Dice Clay is coming over. Get the kids.
Yeah. Hey, he sells nursery rhymes, right?
He does. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Well, I hadn't thought about him for years, to tell you the truth. So the campaign is still live for 11 more days. Are we nervous about this number?
No, we're, I've got, I've got some, I definitely have a lot of people who I know are going to back it, who I know are going to do it before we get done. So we've got 2 weeks left. We're 50% of the way there. So I feel fine about it. I've got a lot of people who I know are going to get in on it. And again, here's the deal. Even if I got $0 on this Kickstarter, the book's already at the printer. Where I'm making this book. This is just me getting people to be able to pre-order. You get some special exclusives. You get to help make this book come true. So this is my passion project. I believe in it, and it's the people who've read it really love it. So I'm confident if anyone gives it a shot, reads it, they're gonna love it too.
Okay, so the book is Kill Stan. The subject is he's a guy who just wants to end his life, so he's going to go out as a masked vigilante. There's the elevator pitch, Josh, if you were asking what we're talking about. Have you looked at other, I mean, not dissing Kickstarter. Everybody goes to Kickstarter. It's almost a generic word now. But have you looked at other crowdfunded sites as a launchpad past Kickstarter?
Yeah, I have. So did a lot of research before I launched the first one, and the consensus was that Kickstarter for comic books is the way to go. There's, I did a lot of market research, and actually, if you look at Kickstarter and look at the comic books that are on there, about 85% of them get funded. So even stuff with really small, pretty insignificant followings and things like that, still end up kind of getting getting completed. There's a lot of people who organically just find stuff on Kickstarter. So you get a lot of, people who are just buying on Kickstarter instead of going to the store, going to your LCS. They're actually buying stuff on Kickstarter. So you get a lot of kind of native buyers on Kickstarter. There's some other stuff.
I love browsing Kickstarter.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably I want to look at Fund My Comic. That's another one I've looked at. But I would probably
definitely
use it.
recommend it.
Yeah, I would probably use it as in addition to, not instead of. So
Yeah, well, that was what I meant. I know a lot of people, they go to Kickstarter and then they roll the money over into Indiegogo, or they go over to Fund My Comic and they just open it up as a storefront.
yeah. I think the problem I had with, and I just didn't have time to get this done, and I will. But the problem with Fund My Comic is they have only one unique monetary exchange that they use. And I don't remember what it is, but you can't just tie a credit card to it. You can't have doesn't work with PayPal. Like, there's one unique money transfer system they use.
Stripe, I think.
I think maybe Stripe. So, which I didn't have, and I just didn't have the time to set up and go through it. And I'm not really, I'm not sure I want to set up a storefront that way. I'm really trying to get people to drive to my Instagram and website. So that's where people are ordering directly from me. I've had a lot of success that way, driving business off of Instagram and Facebook to me directly to order, and just fulfilling it that way. I really want to do direct to consumer as much as possible. So that's kind of, not that it's, it's an additional way to just put it up there and hope, see what you get. And I'm sure we will, but my main goal is to get people to direct to consumer through me.
Hey, whatever works, do that thing. Doesn't matter what everybody else says is the right way. If it's working for you, stick with it.
Yeah, so far. So, it can always be better, but I think we've been really, I feel like our numbers have been really good for just an unknown book. Number one just came out in start of November. So,
yeah. And, 2 down, 8 more to go. That would place us in what, 2029, 2030?
Probably. Well, at this clip, yes, but I'm going to tell you that we're going to move faster on these soon. The goal is to just inject more capital into this and incentivize. It's not for a lot. It's all written. The only thing that's really the biggest obstacle is my artist has a day job in marketing that, in advertising, and I'm going to throw as much money as I can to incentivize him to stop doing that as much and draw this comic book more to get this done faster. My goal is I'd like to have it all done by the end of 2026. And I think we will see. I think we will see that. So,
well, I think that's covers it all.
Yeah,
there's a lot of story left to be told here, folks. This is your ground floor opportunity. Get in now and become part of the ride. The link to the Kickstarter is below the video. Just go down there and check it out. Or just go to Kickstarter and search "Kill Stan." You'll find it. It's there.
Yeah, check it out, guys. It is like we've talked about a lot here, but I would say again, it's really it's a character piece about this guy. And if you like character-driven stories that are, not just to punch them up, there's really a moral here. There's a story here. There's a lot of depth and subtext, and something I think we can all relate to because, we've all faced a lot of things on different levels. And this really is an expression of the day-to-day life and malaise that can sometimes grind us to a halt that we don't even realize is pressing us down every day. So go take a look at it. Take a look at the preview. It's a very inexpensive buy-in to get a copy, and check it out.
All right, Deece, thank you so much for coming on tonight. We look forward to seeing more from you here, man, and I wish you the best of success. We are going to close this show out tonight. Everybody in the chat, thank you for being here. We don't have a show without you. We're just a podcast falling in the woods otherwise. So we're definitely glad you came in. And while you were here, of course, we just hope you had a blast. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
YouTube and feel the vibe. Every show you crave right here live. Heroes and villains clash in the night. Madness Comic Network sets it right. Scroll through the list, find what you need. Epic battles and fast-paced speed. From capes to cosmic space delight. Tune in and watch your favorites ignite. On Facebook, share the thrill so grand. On X, the buzz across the land. Madness Comic Network all around. In every episode, joy is found. Uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends. Catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide. Join the fun, join the craze. Madness Comic brightens days. Hey! New uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends. Catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave